right, good morning, digital designers. Today we're going to add some animation to your Mario world by making different things in the scene actually move around. Animation in Blender is really, really easy to do. Basically, what we're going to do is select the objects that we want to have some movement to, and we're going to tell it where it needs to be at different points in time, okay? So to do that, first thing we're going to need to do is on our bottom window here, we're going to switch over to the timeline window, okay? And your timeline right here is basically a bunch of individual frames. One frame up to 30 frames per second, okay? So for every 1 second of animation, there's 30 individual frames that could fit in here. And you can see that our number line goes all the way up to 250. We can expand that if we want to, but this should be enough for us, okay? So here's some things that I want to animate in my scene. I'm going to make this mushroom actually start inside my pipe. And then as the timeline goes on, it's going to rise up, and then maybe I'll just have it kind of like bounce a little bit and sit on top of that pipe, okay? So what I'm going to do is put it down in the pipe right now. I want to move my playhead back here to the first frame. And with my mouse in this screen and my mushroom selected, I'm going to press the letter I. When you press I, it sets what's called a keyframe, which is like a little marker that says at this point in time, this is where this object should be, okay? Now, I'm going to skip forward here about 20 frames, and I'm going to move the mushroom up so it's slightly up in the air above the pipe, and again, press I. Okay, you can see it set another keyframe, and now when I move back and forth, it pops up, okay? To make this look a little bit more alive, I'm gonna go just past 20, and I'm gonna push it back down slightly, okay? I wanna create like a little bounce in that mushroom. So watch when I play this back. I put my playhead at the beginning, I hit my space bar, it goes whoop, okay? And that's a little bit jerky. I think what I'll do, I'm gonna move this playhead forward so that that is a little bit slower. Let's see. Pop up. Whoop. Perfect. Okay. So the mushroom animation is done. Let's do our coins. Okay. One of the things I want to do with the coin is have it just rotate in place. Like in the video game, they would just spin around slowly before Mario goes to collect them. So a couple things I need to do here. I want to make sure that the pivot point or the origin point is right in the center of that circle. Otherwise, if I rotate it, it's going to spin kind of like wonky. So I'm going to right click my coin, set origin to geometry, and you can see that puts the point right in the middle of that coin. Okay. Then let's take this back to the beginning. And what we're going to do is hit I to set our first keyframe where the coin is sitting by itself here. And then I'm going to go all the way to the end of my timeline. And I'm going to rotate this thing. We'll do RZ. Remember, 180 degrees is all the way around. I want it to go quite a few times. So I think I'm going to type in 1080. And this is going to do a whole bunch of rotations, okay? And then press I again. So what I've told it to do now is just rotate for the entire length of my video. So when I hit play, it's just going to slowly spin around continuously through the whole video. Okay? Very cool. Let's run this back to the beginning and we'll do it for the other coin. We're going to start right here. I need to set its origin to the center. We're going to do R. Oops, I'm sorry. We'll just do I right here to lock this in. So there's our first keyframe. And then we're going to go to the end and we're going to do RZ 1080, enter, and press I again. Okay, so I get a keyframe at the beginning, keyframe at the end. Now both my coins will rotate. Okay, so you can really keyframe pretty much anything in your scene. You can see over in the background there, I have one of my blocks actually exploding. That's a different effect that I'll show you guys in a little bit. But you can even keyframe individual character movements here. What I was thinking of doing is having my little Goomba kind of look side to side, like he's keeping an eye out for Mario here. So what I'm going to do is grab both of his eyes and join them together, okay, so that these are one object. I'm going to put the origin point in between the two of them. And at the beginning of my video, I'm going to move these over here. Let me rotate him a little bit so he's kind of looking to the side. And I'll press I to set that keyframe. Okay. Now I'm going to go halfway down my timeline, which would be 125. And I'm going to move these eyes over to the other side. And I think I need to rotate them a little bit so they stay inside the eye. And then I'm going to press I again. Okay, let's see what this does. Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the end of my timeline, and I'm going to move them back to the other side. And let's rotate them so they're still in there. There we go. And press I again. So I'm ending at the same place that I started. Okay. And let's see what this looks like. I put it back at the beginning. And now my little Goomba is just kind of looking around very suspiciously, wondering where Mario's coming from. Okay. Let's see when it gets to the end, and it'll just loop. Perfect. Okay, so that's some simple ways that you can do animation. Look for lots of things in your scene that can move around. I mean, one of the things I wanted to have was this giant block kind of dropping on Mario. I can put it up at the top and just say I, and then let's come forward a few frames and we'll move it down to the ground. Hit I, and that will create a and then we'll have it slowly go back up, I, and quickly drop. Okay, I. Now that I've done one cycle of that, I can copy all these keyframes, and anywhere where I want that to happen, just move down the line and paste them with Control V, and I'll have those keyframes repeating. Okay, so it's going to look really cool once you get a whole bunch of objects in here moving. When you hit play, now everybody's doing something. Okay, you got the block back there smashing. I got my brick exploding, my coins spinning. This is going to be a lot of fun. All right, have some fun with that. See what you can come up with, and let's add some movement to your scenes.